Hey guys, what's up? It's Cole. I've been asked a whole lot now that I'm deep into World Tier 4 and actually in the thick of it, and farming items and finishing all my renown and doing all that stuff. Hey, what do you actually do in the game? What is your actual build? Don't give me the BS, don't give me the fluff. Tell me what's up, man. And the footage in the background is also not going to be sped up. I'm just showing you what kind of monstrosity I've made, and I can tell you movement speed is by far massively by far the favorite stat of mine in the game, and that is going to be definitely something I'm going to bring up here. And this is again not sped up footage, and you are going to be running that quick in the actual content. So let's get the elephant out of the room. Yes, I'm taking Claw. You are unironically gonna see dungeon footage of me hacking and slashing, taking Claw, and you're gonna be like, wait, what? Absolutely. And am I still using wolves? Absolutely. I'm going to show some footage here, which is going to be, do the wolves do abysmal, awful, terrible, horrible, horrible, horrible damage? Absolutely. The damage that they do is just abysmal. But I take the wolves essentially because they are giant, awesome meat shields. That is literally the only purpose they serve. And yes, in World Tier 4, are they getting whacked down pretty quick? Absolutely. But they take off enough pressure from me passively to make it so that, hey, this is kind of worth it. But do they do any damage whatsoever at all? No. As you can see, I am hitting massive damage and they are doing less than 100 damage per hit, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But going into the actual build, you can see that I have both Storm Strike as well as Claw filled out. And Storm Strike and Claw are going to be very, very, very synergistic with a unique that I got that I'll get into later. And you can see there's a whole ton of points in there, and that I went for the guaranteed poisoning damage because there are so many synergies that if I can guarantee that this is on a high priority target, like a buffing thing that's making it so that everything else is incredibly ridiculously tanky, this lets me focus fire them, and it has made my life so much easier in World Tier 4. I cannot emphasize it enough. But I'm also putting points into Storm Strike and going all the way for the standard. Storm Strike has a 50% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds, which is incredible. Tornado, it's the standard Storm Werewolf build that I showed you before. If there was no Tornado, that would be incredibly weird. Obviously, we're taking our passives here of Heart of the Wild, Abundance, and Wild Impulses. That's just standard at this point. Critical chance against close enemies obviously is going to be valuable. Movement speed, it's my favorite stat. I absolutely adore it. I'm going to struggle if I make any other character at this point because movement speed on this is so quick. Blood Howl is obviously going to be good. You're going to be not only getting the heal, but you're also going to be buffing your wolves, which I guess that's kind of trivial. But the heal of the wolves, making them a little tankier is better. And then obviously it increases your attack speed. It's really good. I'm such a fan of that defensive ability. It truly, truly is worth it. Wolves, like I said, HP sponges. Nature's Reach, distant enemies because your tornadoes will be flying off into Narnia. It's really good, free damage. Elemental Exposure, just chance to get enemies vulnerable. Vulnerable works with a whole ton of synergies. Hurricane's great, not necessarily for its damage component, but like it's fine, it's there. But when you see the damage that I'm doing in the background footage, you're probably just like, oh, that's like 10 to 13,000 damage over 8 seconds. Does that seem that amazing? No, it probably really doesn't. But the slows and them dealing less damage is incredibly impactful, especially on World Tier 4. I can tell you, enemies start hitting you very, very, very hard, and you will want that. Neurotoxin is a great passive. You just slow enemies, which is a crowd control, and that unlocks a whole ton of synergies, which is, again, another reason why I went into Claw with the Poison. It's absolutely fantastic. We have Toxic Claws, where basically yeah, critical strikes are gonna just do poisoning damage, but because your storm skills, because of the helmet, are gonna be werewolf skills, that is going to spread poison all over the place, which is fantastic. But do you need the helmet? No, you don't. You can tweak around a few things to make it so that it works. If you really want that video, let me know in the comments, and I will try and do that. In Venom, poison enemies take extra critical strike damage. Again, we're just playing into that synergy. Really good. And then Defiance, Circle of Life, and Resonance. If you're doing a spammy nature magic build, you're probably going to have these. Circle of Life is very useful because you're going to get out so many tornado casts that it's just really great. Grizzly Rage, I keep saying it's the only ultimate on Druid that feels like an ultimate. Petrify has not impressed me at all. Not at all. Cataclysm is actually shit. They would need to... It doesn't even hit all enemies around you. It is awful. Yeah, so I just stand by Grizzly Rage is the only ultimate worth calling an ultimate. It's the only one worth calling it. There's no nice way to say it. I'm so sorry. And then we end, obviously, with Perfect Storm because we are primarily into nature magic. Spirit Boons, I'm still going with Wariness. All the others are fine. You just want that reduced damage from elites because at World Tier 4, you really are getting punched in the face. Avian Wrath is critical strike damage. I'm really torn. You could probably go swooping, Scythe Talons or Avian Wrath just so that you get the critical. It's really so neck and neck. It's like a micro optimization. I'm torn. And then Calamity, obviously more ultimate. Calm Before the Storm, more ultimate. Masochistic. Critical strikes with shape-shifting skills heal you for 3% maximum life. It's so good. You'll be proccing this all the time. And remember, with that passive, you're going to be getting the Circle of Life passive. You're going to just be healing yourself a whole ton. And with that, let's actually get into items first. So, Tempest Roar, have I had a better drop of it in World Tier 4? Nope. Nope. But it's really good, turns all of your storm skills into werewolf skills. It's really great, but again, you can tweak things and it's not mandatory. Mad Wolf's Glee. I've had an upgrade of this drop, but it had fewer rolls, and I'm obviously having the tooltips on that can show you 15% movement speed on this piece. That's pretty important to me, but I also had other really high rolls. Like, this is actually a pretty great piece, if I'm super honest. Gloves. This legendary is going to be mandatory, and you want to shift into Dire Werewolf, and you're also going to get movement speed. You're going to... It just really makes everything work in this build. This one I would call mandatory. You can't really tweak it that much from there. Damage. And now this one... The legs are probably also not mandatory. You can probably swap it out, but I'm using so many basic attacks, especially with my claw, that is making it really effective in getting damage reduction. Basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 6 seconds. I got a high roll on that. I just glued it on for mitigation because, again, World Tier 4 absolutely smashes you into the ground. Boots, the number one thing on this is going to be the movement speed. Obviously, dodge chance is nice. Obviously, spirit cost reduction is really nice. We'll talk about stats a little bit later, but this is great. Now, in terms of the legendary effect, this is going to be what really makes my werewolf crazy, and I hope I remember during editing to show the full screen, but like, look at how fast I'm just blazing across the map right now. I'm just trying to record a little bit of footage here. Like, I am moving like faster than my horse like right now, and you're moving this quick in actual dungeons. Like, it's actually absolutely bizarre. So it's just like, now I'm on my horse. Yeah, you can probably feel that one. So that's why I went with that one. And now, what I did get a drop of, which people are going to be like, oh, that's such a specific unique, and why are you talking about it in a build video? I'm saying a lot of people are going to look at it, be like, oh, it's related to Claw, and garbage it. And this is why you saw me take both Claw passive to poison enemies, as well as the general Storm Strike. This is going to cast Storm Strike where you do Claw, and it literally just gave me 9 ranks of Claw. So, like, my Claw ability, if I hover over it, is just chunking enemies, which, especially in World Tier 4, you have enemies that you need to prioritize immediately. And so my Claw has 13 out of 5 ranks, and the incredible majority of them are literally just from items. And this has made my clear speed dramatically quicker. I cannot emphasize how big of an impact this weapon has had on my build. If you can get it, don't just throw it in the garbage, because this has been incredible. Absolutely, if you can get this unique, I would say it is probably much more impactful. No, I will say it is much more impactful than Mad Wolf's Glee. This, a lot of people are going to just throw away saying Claw's bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, in terms of, oh, also I guess with this, I did lose one of my damage passives. I can't remember even which one. I didn't care that much. I think that it was like a lightning effect. This by far outweighs it. It has not even been on my mind to go back. Now, in terms of my amulet, obviously I had pretty good rolls. I rolled a bunch on this amulet actually, and then I slapped on Tornado will seek up to 5 targets, which is fan freaking tastic. I'm just melting everything. Now on my ring, duration of Grizzly Rage, I need to find a ring upgrade, then I'll slap a higher duration on it. This Grizzly Rage Rampaging Werebeast is amazing, legendary. And then Blood Howl increases critical strike chance by 5%. Is 5% high? No. This is the baseline codex version. So am I super happy with it? No, I'm not. But that is really just that build. Now let's talk about the Paragon board super duper duper quick, which the baseline board I'm slotting in Exploit. Exploit is free vulnerability. Am I super impressed with how much damage is added? No. I've been teeter-tottering between, is this really better than like a flat damage increase, like something like, I don't know, like Guzzler, or like there's a whole lot of names just coming to my mind about that, because but it's just like that scales with int, and is int really going to be necessarily the best power there? Where do you do it? It's just like you can get a few nodes in there, you can stuff 7 nodes into there. It's tough to say. And then I went into the board after that, which is going to be, God, what do we call this again? Ancestral Guidance board. Where's that legendary node? God, I'm so sorry, guys. I just woke up and people were like, build update video. Yeah, Ancestral Guidance. And so you obviously get increased damage, and you're going to be spamming abilities. This is very easy to proc, very easy to proc actually for you. And then we are going to be going with the plus damage in werewolf form. Go human form if you don't have the helmet. And then we finally attached on this board, which I'm hoping I can get the legendary node pretty soon, which is Constricting Tendrils. But more than that, you really get some incredible passives here, like Nature Magic skill damage is just dumped out everywhere. Also, you can double the effect of it with this glyph, which is going to be Earth and Sky, which has not been leveled up because I've been more focused on renown farming, checking out Hell Tides. But it's going to cover more area. Like, it's going to hit these intelligence nodes and dexterity nodes, which is going to make it easier to unlock a whole lot of these requirements. Maximum life is another stat that I picked up because World Tier 4 really does, it truly does chunk you. So that's kind of the overview of the build. And then you're seeing me circle around, and Nature Magic skill damage, damage to elites, Nature Magic skill damage, damage to elites, damage to crowd control enemies. Like, you're seeing me 100% pick up any of these damage nodes because they're very important. I unfortunately do need to say they are probably significantly better than even taking legendary node, which feels really crappy to say. People are going to be like, oh, that sounds really crappy. You're not even taking the legendary node of the... It's just not as good. It's just not as good as straight up damage. And so that's why I'm not taking it. I would love to, trust me. I would love to be able to justify this node. But in like solo, trying to burn down enemies as quick as you can build, life is going to be more important, because you're going to, even with your meat shield wolves, you're going to get absolutely smashed. And then just raw damage so that you can actually do it. And yeah, with that, there's my build update video. And as you can see, hopefully in the footage, it just cruises through content. I am melting this content in World Tier 4 like it's a joke. And with that, I hope that everyone's enjoying Diablo 4. And I am going to be hopefully at you with some more interesting builds, like totally different builds pretty soon. But yeah, that's it for today. Take care, and I hope you have an awesome day.